Hello, this is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess, and this is a quick video about the anatomy of a prayer book page. So I offer these prayer books, these spiral bound prayer books for each month in print via lulu.com. If you just search my name, Molly Reamer, they will pop up for each month of the year. Note that I am updating them for 2024, so the 2024 editions go up through May, and then I'm still working after that point. But really, any prayer book can be used during any month and you'll still be okay. It still has something to offer. So really what the prayer book creates is this portable tiny temple, this portable sacred space, this portable altar, really, a repository of your magic and your wisdom and the guidance and the things that you wish to remember, to come back to hold on to, etc. So I just wanted to explain the components of what there are. And I didn't say, in addition to the Lulu printed ones, you may also get a free printable file that's available to anyone. If you go to 30daysofgoddess.com/101, there is a small format prayer book, and then there's the larger format prayer book like this there. So anybody can print that at any time, and then our monthly practices unfold with new prompts, prayers, and practices. So, anatomy of a prayer book page. At the top, there's a space for the word of the day. This can be a word that you draw from our card decks, or I offer monthly prompt lists with words for each day of the month. So you can put your word of the day on the top. What I usually do each morning is I settle down on my porch swing. I read the Simple and Sacred Affirmation Prayer, which is available at 30daysofgoddess.com too, in the free resource library there. I read this prayer. I turn to the front of the prayer book where I get to what the word of the day is. I choose my rune of the day from right here. If you have the Woman Runes deck, you can also choose from that. You can get printable runes in our free Intro to Woman Runes class, which actually is getting ready to close next month, but it's still available now if you need those printable runes. They're also automatically included in the backs of the prayer books. So you have them there. So I choose my rune, I fill out my moon wheel, which just involves making a notation of the rune and the day of the month. And you can do other mood tracking, etc. along there as well. So I do that next. Then I turn to the page, write the date at the top. I write the word at the top. I go ahead and ink my rune in there. I leave the mood blank. I usually leave the magic moment blank. And then I do the moon phase. So dark moon now, so I colored it all the way in. And then I actually did have a little bit of a magical moment this morning, so I wrote that in. So if something happens at the very beginning of the day that feels magical, I will write that in the magic moment section. Otherwise, I leave that open. Note that you can put anything you want to put here. You can stick one of the tiny affirmation cards from the back of the book. Let me find one of those for you. You can stick one of those there if you want to. You can do whatever you want in the magic moment section. And but I have challenged myself for years. My word of the year was magic. I still wear a word of the year ring that says magic on it. My word of the year was magic quite a few years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And I challenged myself at that time to see something magical every day, to write down something magical that I saw every day. And I still do that every single day as I write down the magical moment. If I'm not able to immediately think of something, I go out and look for it, or I really stretch and extend into what happened to find a scrap of magic so that I have something to put down. So I've always had something to put down. So those are the first things that I do. Then what I do is just mentally, or, slightly, I guess not mentally because I used pens, but I kind of split this box into two, and I write affirmations on this side that directly connect to the word of the day. So I write affirmations on this side, and then I write a new prayer, a new poem, or a new blessing of some kind on the other half of the page. I often extend over to the other page. My pages can be have lots and lots of writing on them. I extend down into the boxes, etc. I don't care where the writing goes, because then I often just glue right over it. You can see how my writing is down there covered up, and that is okay with me because I transcribe here. I transcribe my writing every morning. And so the writing then becomes digital. And so I just cover over what I've actually written. So this has stickers over it, that has coloring over it. You can see my little words behind because I often cover it up with the art page. So the book is set up to have space for devotional offerings in terms of poems, prayers, or blessings, and then also for art, which is a creative offering and a devotional practice in and of itself. Some people opt to just do art on both pages. Some people opt to, instead of writing something new, the prayer books come with prayer cards in the back. Let me go find them, like this. And you can just cut one of those out, offer it, and then glue it in to this section. You don't have to write something new. You can glue that down. I also do always offer a new sampler pack at the beginning of the month, and you can print those out and use those and just stick that prayer down on your square instead of writing something new. I always write something new because that's one of my core devotional practices. And then later in the day, I color around the little squares here. See, here's my rune for today that I picked, and I tuck it in the pocket from the previous day's affirmations. I color around the boxes. I just glue straight on over there. I cut out 2 of the little affirmations. I'll glue them straight into the boxes regardless of whether I've written something there or not. And then I work on the next page. And this is where the prettiness, beauty is a spiritual practice in and of itself too. And creativity is a spiritual practice, and expressing yourself is a type of communion with the divine. And so I fill up my page with either things that have spoken to me that day, with things that relate to the word of the day, or with cards that I've picked from our additional card materials. So I have word cards, I have affirmation cards, I have little prayer cards that I tuck into the pocket. And so the art pages are very different based on the amount of time that I have and what I do, but they involve, cards that people have sent me, things that I've printed out, stuff that I've made, stuff that I've written, etc. So I do that page later, often so this is the heart of the morning practice, and then later in the day or during the morning when my kids are doing schoolwork or something, I will fill out the art part of the page. I forgot to say that immediately after writing, I go and get my phone. I have an auto transcription software on my phone, and so I will read out anything that I wrote. That goes into the transcription software, and later I convert what I've transcribed, or I convert the audio transcription into a finished poem, a finished piece of writing. But I read it in there first, so then I know it doesn't matter if this gets smudged or if I cover it up or anything like that. So anyway, that's the anatomy of the prayer book page. And then at the very end of the day, if I haven't filled out my magic moment, I go back and fill out my magic moment, and I go back and fill up my mood circle to show how the mood was. So I don't do the mood at the beginning of the day because I kind of like it to be an overall look at how the day as a whole felt. So at the very end of the day, as an evening practice, I put in my mood, I put in my magic moment, and very often I will go ahead and reread something, reread a prayer card, reread something from the monthly guidebook that I offer to our Goddess Magic patrons, reread a little prayer, something like that. And that closes out my time with the prayer book for the day. So basically, that's what I wanted to show you and knowing that this is infinitely flexible and has infinite variation. You can do things that work for you, but for me, date, word, magic moment, moon, mood, and rune, prayers and poems, offerings in written form, and then my little affirmation notes stuck in the bottom. So that is what is offered. And remember, you can go to 30daysofgoddess.com for the video, the practice update, etc., and 30daysofgoddess.com/101 for printable prayer book files. Thanks so much for being here. Keep living your magic. Bye-bye.